Hi everyone. So I wanted to do a quick video here about balance in the single. It's a good time of year to be thinking about this. We're all trying to get back into the boat, and there's always a little bit of a transition period as we get used to being back in the small boat. So this is going to build off of the pause and drag drill that I had listed a couple emails back. And what I'm going to talk about here is not so much a drill, it's just more a concept of balancing the boat and how we can do that with the oar handles a little bit. So we will start from the pause and drag position, right? So we're going to come through to the finish, and we're just going to let the oars sit on the water. And in the boat, what I'm going to check for is I'm going to make sure that I'm sitting up, I'm tight through the core, and that my elbows are out to the side and level. As you can see, for me, my starboard elbow is a little bit low, and that is going to show us what happens when that doesn't work right. So now my boat is tipping down to starboard, right? So I drew in a little messy on the finish on the starboard side. Boat is now tipping down to starboard. But we'll pick up from here, which is right after where we would be at the drill. So at the drill, we pause to find our positioning. Try to take the blades off the water at the same time and get some balance. And then once we're up and the oars are in the air, now what I want to talk about is how we balance the boat with the oars in the air as we're traveling up the recovery. So for the demonstration, I'm just going to pause somewhere between half and three-quarter slide, and I'm going to do some exaggerated hand level changes to show you how I'm balancing the boat. As we can see here, the boat is tipping a little bit down to starboard, and as the boat glides away and my hands come out to where I can get separation, what people normally do when they feel the boat starting to tip to starboard is your natural tendency is to want to keep the blade off the water, so you want to lift up on that blade, which means you're going to be dropping that starboard hand. But what that's actually doing, by putting that pressure down on the starboard hand, you're actually tipping the boat further over towards the starboard side. So we're going to do the exact opposite. So as we're coming up to the catch, we are going to drop the port hand a little bit. And again, this is going to be an exaggeration. If you were watching somebody row, if you're doing this while you're moving at any kind of a normal rowing pace, the handle is going to be more effective if it's moving a little faster. I'm in a pause position, and just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to drop the hand way down. But as you can see, that's going to help bring the boat back up to level. And the boat's moving slow, and it's only one stroke, so I do have a little bit of a knee action in there going, helping out a little bit. But I'll do this back and forth 3 times, and you'll see as we get to the end, when the boat's a little more level, the knee action comes out of it. So to correct the boat, I'm just adding pressure down on the other side of the boat. So if you push down with the hands, pressing down on the hand puts force up on the blade, puts the force down on your rigger, and it's going to bring the boat back over to that side. So as I come up, hand down, pushes that rigger back down, finds level. And as we move forward, the boat is going to go the other way, right? So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to find my balance, get back to set. Now the boat's going to start to tip the other direction, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Boat's starting to tip down to port. Going to put a little pressure down on the starboard hand, bring the boat back up. Core has a huge amount to do with this, right? So I'm balancing a little bit with the hips, a little bit with the feet, a little bit with the hands. The more you're moving in the boat, the less you can use the feet and the hips to balance the boat. The more you need that for moving. So once you get going, it really turns into just the hands. So in this last one, you're going to see it's probably the most subtle. The boat is going to be tipping a little bit down to the starboard side, right? We're level. And this is what we're going to think about as we're rowing regular. My blades are a little bit high off the water, a little bit of an exaggeration, but I'm going to sense the boat tipping a little bit down to the starboard side, subtle press down with the right hand. Again, exaggerated for this. Is going to correct the boat, keep both blades off the water, and then we go back to level. So it's really about training your brain and training your body to not worry about the blade that's closest to the water, right? So if the boat is starting to tip down, I'm going to disregard, I'm not going to think too much about my starboard oar. I'm just going to kind of keep it still and not disrupting the boat. And I'm going to use that other hand to counterbalance and bring the boat back up to level. What this amounts to in normal rowing is going to be really just pressure, right? Someone from outside the boat is not going to be able to see, if you're doing it correctly, not see those hands coming up and down. It's more, you feel the boat starting to tip down, you feel like your port hand wants to get a little bit light as the starboard side, as it starts to drop down to starboard side. So you hold the pressure down on the port side, on the handle, in order to keep that pressure from coming off of that port rigger and keeping the boat level. And what I can do here is we'll just let the whole thing play through once, so you can kind of see it real time. So we'll come up, take a stroke. I'm going to kind of find my center here, and then just that little bit of pressure down on the handles is all it takes. The great thing about this is when you do it subtly, if an oar touches, it's not that big a deal because you're not throwing the boat side to side, and you don't have to overcorrect, right? You take one stroke, an oar touches a little bit, but because you had that counterbalance in, the next stroke is going to be dead on. All right, so if anybody has any questions about this, please feel free to email me and I will follow up, and good luck.